Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari and we were discussing chapter 16 of Indian Penal Code, which is all about offenses against human body. In that particular chapter, we were focusing on hurt and grievous hurt in my last session, where we have seen the structure of all the 20 sections which are discussing about hurt and grievous hurt, starting from section 319 to 338. In this video, I am going to give a lot of focus on first 6 sections, which are very important to understand what exactly is hurt and grievous hurt. I am going to help you guys to understand both the concept with the help of a beautiful chart. After that, I have as many as 5 case laws which are on hurt and grievous hurt. I hope that gives a lot of content to you guys. With that confidence, I am taking you to the first slide. Section 319 defines hurt. But an interesting part in section 319 and 320 is there is actus reus very clearly explained, but the mens rea is not available. That means the act is already explained in 319 and 320, but to find the intention or the mens rea, we have to go to section 321 and 322. So I am keeping 321 and 322 for the next slide, but in this slide I am going to explain what is hurt and what is grievous hurt. So all you need to importantly remember is here we are discussing only act. That means it is not an offense. It is to understand what exactly is an act which is considered as hurt or grievous hurt. Section 319 defines hurt as whoever causing bodily pain or disease or infirmity to anyone else is causing hurt. So in that there are 3 acts are coming. One, he is causing an act which results in bodily pain, or he is conducting such an act which causes the disease, or he is conducting an act which ends in infirmity. Infirmity means the inability to use the body or some body part which you usually able to use. But here in this case, because of the hurt, you are unable to use that. That is infirmity. So anybody causing such act which is ending in bodily pain or disease or infirmity has caused hurt. That is section 319. Section 320 is the aggravated form of section 319, or it is the aggravated form of hurt which is known as grievous hurt. Here there are 8 such acts are given which are considered as grievous hurt. The first among them is emasculation. Emasculation means removal of male external sex organs, which is penis and the testicles. If they are done, that is called as grievous hurt, and this offense can be conducted with male only. The second act is permanent privation of the sight of either eye. That means losing of both the eyes for the rest of the life. If anybody is causing that, that is also grievous hurt. Likewise, the permanent privation of the hearing of either ear. Losing the hearing capacity of both the ears for the rest of the life is also grievous hurt as far as the third point is concerned. The fourth and fifth point are discussing about the other part of the body. When I am saying other parts of the body, it is like dislocating the joints and other stuff where a person ends up becoming handicapped for rest of his life, or sometime it may be a disease which makes him to lose his 100% capacity. He might end up being a 40% or 50% or 60% capacity only. He will never go to that original strength of his, like if he is getting any disease, by that he ends up losing his earning capacity and other stuff. That is also considered as grievous hurt. The sixth type is permanent disfiguration of the head or face. If somebody is leaving a permanent scar on the head or face, or cutting the ear or cutting the nose, etc., are permanent disfiguration of the face, and that is also considered under grievous hurt. Likewise, fracture or dislocation of a bone or tooth is also considered as grievous hurt. The eighth and the last important form of grievous hurt is any hurt which endangers life or which causes the sufferer to be during the space of 20 days in several bodily pain or unable to follow his ordinary pursuits. So here what happens, he got so injured that he cannot continue all those routine work he would have done otherwise, like brushing, going to the toilet. Everything becomes difficult for him, and in that case, if that continues to more than 20 days, then that will come under the bracket of grievous hurt. Now what did we learn? We learned what is hurt and what is grievous hurt. Now there is no intention shown till now. So it is not a crime yet. So all we have learned till now is what is hurt and what is grievous hurt. So we understood what is actus reus. To understand what is mens rea, we will go to next slide where I am going to discuss all the other sections which are very important along with section 319 and 320, and we are studying them along with case laws. So here we are going to understand both actus reus and mens rea. As section 319 uses three important words, that is bodily pain, disease and infirmity, let us try understand them in detail. I have beautiful case for them also. First, bodily pain. In the case law of In Re Marana Gondan, it was held that in the absence of an intention to cause death or grievous bodily hurt, where a person died as a result of 2 kicks on the abdomen, the accused was held guilty of causing hurt only. Now here, if someone is kicking on abdomen for 2 times, that is not causing any grievous hurt or death in a normal circumstances. However, in this case it caused death. However, the court held the person is guilty of causing hurt only. That is how you have to see what is bodily pain. The next important term is disease. This particular term is discussed in the case law of Raka versus Emperor. There was a prostitute lady who had syphilis, and she had sexual relationship with the complainant and he also got syphilis. So he put a case with the section number 319 and 21, that is hurt and voluntarily causing hurt. However, the court held that the same need to be considered under section 269, which is spreading of infection and not of causing hurt, because the interval between the act and the disease was too remote. That is why it was not considered under the sections 319 and 321. It was considered under section 269. So it is a necessary aspect that there should be a nearest connection between the disease and hurt caused. The last term, infirmity, means it is an inability of an organ to perform its normal function, which may either be temporary or permanent. That is all about section 319. Then comes section 321, which is very important, which converts hurt into an offense, which says voluntarily causing hurt. Now, whoever does any act with the intention thereby causing hurt to any person, or with the knowledge that he is likely thereby to cause hurt to any person, and does such act, in that case it is considered as voluntarily causing hurt. Now, he should have the intention or he should have the knowledge that by doing such act he is going to cause hurt to someone. In that case, it becomes punishable offense. And what is the punishment? The same is discussed under section 323, which can go up to 1 year imprisonment or fine or both, and they are non-cognizable offenses, bailable offenses. Any magistrate can conduct the trial, and they are compoundable offenses with the consent of the person to whom the hurt is caused. Then comes section 320, which defines what is grievous hurt. I have already explained what is grievous hurt with those 8 aspects required. I hope you remember that. Now let's look at the case laws. The first case law, that is State of Karnataka versus Shivalingaya. In this case, the act of squeezing the testicles of a person would be an offense of causing grievous hurt. So this is the important aspect held in this particular case law. In the second case law, that is Gangaram versus State of Rajasthan, one person went to a dancer's home and then he cut her nose with the help of sharp razor blade. What he has done? He has done permanent disfiguration of her face, and it was considered that he has committed grievous hurt. The last case law is Suhara versus State, where an accused, while beating a woman, accidentally hit the child in her hand and the child died. Now here in this case also the accused was held for grievous hurt only because he never had an intention to kill the child. That is what you need to remember in this particular case law. So if you see section 320 alone, then it is not an offense because there we see only actus reus. Where is the mens rea? That is covered under section 322, which discusses about voluntarily causing hurt, which then converted into grievous hurt. Now in that case only it becomes a punishable offense. Till then it is not an offense. Under 320 we see only definition for grievous hurt only when the picture comes under section 322 or when somebody knowingly or intentionally causing voluntary hurt to someone, and if it is very serious as defined under section 320, if it is coming under any of those 8 points which are covered under section 320, then the same will be considered as grievous hurt, which becomes a punishable offense. In the bracket I have mentioned intention is important, need not to hurt same as planned. Now imagine A is very angry with B. He takes a sword and he tries to cut the hand of B. B somehow escapes, but however the sword makes a big impact on his stomach. Now he gets into hospital and suffers with that particular injury for more than 20 days. Now here A's object was to cause grievous hurt by cutting his hand. So that was what he intended to do, but somehow he ended injuring the stomach of B. Now he cannot say that I have not done the injury as per my plan. That will not come into picture. Whatever injury has happened, if it is coming under any of those 8 points which are given under section 320, then they will be considered as grievous hurt. That is very important aspect we need to remember. Now, what is the punishment for voluntarily causing grievous hurt as discussed under section 322? That is where section 325 comes into picture, which discusses about punishment for voluntarily causing grievous hurt. And the punishment here can go up to 7 years imprisonment plus fine, and these are cognizable offences, bailable offences. Any magistrate can conduct the trial, and they are compoundable offences with the person to whom hurt is caused and along with the permission of the court. With that, I am concluding this particular video. In my next video, I am going to cover all the other sections which are the aggravated form of the hurt and grievous hurt and the punishment for the same. Thank you so much for subscribing my channel if you have already subscribed. If not, this is your time to subscribe my channel. Please like, share and comment my videos. All the very best for whatsoever purpose you are watching my channel, and thanks again.